Hi guys, and welcome to another Bootstrap 4 video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We're going to show you how to build a hero section with some scrolling text. And let's go to our page. Need to thank Yoann for this, that they've written this code for us. It's HTML and CSS. It's actually written as SCSS, but we're going to convert it to regular CSS. And you may have seen this on a lot of Bootstrap. It's pretty popular, this, on Bootstrap sites and also some WordPress sites. It's quite effective and it looks good. So let's go ahead and build a page and incorporate this into it. So I'm going to open my Brackets software. And Brackets is a free text editor. You can download it from a link below this video. And I'm just going to quickly create a new Bootstrap template. You do this from an extension manager, which just gives you a basic Bootstrap template here. If I save this, I'll call it index.html. And if I go to that folder and just double click on it, there it is. It's just created a basic Bootstrap template here. I started with a nav bar and a bit of text underneath. If you want to learn how to do that, I'll put a link to one of my videos below this also, show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so let's get this built. What I'm going to do is what we've got here, that's the actual font that it's trying to pull in from Google there. So let's grab that and put it into our Bootstrap site there. And I'm just going to put it below our Bootstrap style sheet there. And that pulls in the font we want to use from Google. And then if we go back, I'm just going to grab that HTML from below there. Control C to copy, back to our brackets again. I'm going to paste it in. I'm just going to paste it over that bit of code we've got there, which is just that basic text. Now let's get that lined up a little bit more just to keep it tidy. Okay, and I'll save that, Control S. Now, if we look back at our code pen here, this here is SCSS, and I'm just going to convert it to regular CSS. I'm not going to even bother with the body bit because that's just for its body back here. I'll use that color in a moment. But I'm just going to grab the content and everything below, which is quite a lot because they're using keyframes here. Now, I don't need anything that's commented out at the bottom there. Control C to copy. Then I'm going to go to this site here, which is an online web app called CSS Portal, where you can convert SCSS to CSS. I'll drop this link below the video also, should you need to do this. I'm going to paste that code I just copied in there. I'm going to hit the compile button, and it outputs it as regular CS down the bottom of here. It's highlighted in blue, so I can just right click and copy. I'm going to open my brackets and copy this CSS back in to my site here. This little page automatically builds a little style sheet on the page here. Usually if I'm building big sites, I'd have a separate style sheet, but this will do for this. So I'm going to drop down, create a gap there and paste, Control V. And again, I'm just going to grab this and tidy it up a bit. It's pulled it sort of out of line. Not that this will affect the way it looks at all, it's just good practice to have your code lined up. So that when people come in behind, it makes it a lot easier to read. Okay, so we've got that in there. So that should have actually put that in our site. So if I hit Control S, the only thing we didn't do was the actual coloured background, but I'll show you what we've got so far. So here's what we had before, and what I've done is I've replaced this part here with this. And the only thing I didn't get was this background color, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. So if I refresh, we should have it there. There we go, we've got it there, it's working. We haven't got that background color, so let's quickly put that background color in. And let's have a look back up at the top here. Was their background color was this one right here. See, background color. And let's go back to our brackets. And here's our body for our body style right here. So I'm just going to add that background color there. And put a semicolon on the end. Control S to save. Back to our template, refresh. There we have it. Which is great, it's very effective, but what if you don't want it to say that? What if you want to put in your own stuff, which I imagine you will, because this isn't a lot of good for people. So let's go back to our code, back to our brackets. And if we look down at the HTML, I'll scroll down this way because there's quite a lot of CSS there. There's our nav link. Here's what we've just put in. Okay, let's put in our own text here. Let's say learn. And what shall we learn? Let's learn Bootstrap. WordPress. HTML5. And CSS3. How's that? Save, Control S. Let's go back to our site and refresh. There we go. Learn Bootstrap, WordPress, HTML5, CSS3. Very good. So we've kind of made it our own. But you kind of want to have a bit of a hero section going on. What if you want to change the color of these little brackets here? Well, those are before and afters. Let's just, for argument's sake, make them red. Let's go back to our code. What we need to do is have a look up in our CSS up here. And I'll show you a trick. I'm in Chrome here. If I actually click on one of these, or right click on one of those and inspect it, I think you're going to find it's an after. So before. Yeah, that's a before. I'm using Google Chrome, and all I did was right click and hit the inspect, or hit the F12, and it'll bring up the inspector, and just click on the element you want, and over in this right pane, as long as you've got your styles highlighted, it shows you the CSS. So let's change that to a different color. Let's make it something, oh, that's pretty bright. Let's make it like bright pink. How's that then? So let's copy that hex code. Control C to copy. And we know that's before, so it probably means the second one's after. Yes, it does there. So we just got to look for the before and after in our CSS to change those. So let's look back up here. There's our before, there's our after. I don't see a color there though. Let's keep going. That's the actual content. There's our color. There's the before. So let's paste our new color in there. Control V to paste. And see anyone for the after there? Oh, I see. It's got after and before there. So we've got both of those. That's fine. Brilliant. So let's save that. Control S, back to the site. Refresh, and it should actually stay the same. There we go. So we've changed those colors now. Okay, well, what if we want to put our own background in there? Let me go and grab an image from Unsplash or somewhere. Okay, here's my folder where I saved this index.html file. Now I've just grabbed an image and I'll paste it in there. It's called background 1. Let's change that so you can actually see what it is. There we are, it's a sort of spacey background there. Let's put this background image in behind all this. So let's go back to our brackets. And we want to go back up where we put in our background color there. You can leave that there or you can take it out, it doesn't matter too much. Let's put in background image. And then we'll have to tell it where the URL is. Right down the bottom there. And it's already found it because it's looking in the same folder as our index is in, and there it is, bg1jpg. And if you hover over it, it'll show you that. So let's put a semicolon after that and save it. Control S to save. Back to the site. And do a refresh. Okay. It's alright, but it's kind of blurry looking. What I want to do is tell that background image to cover the whole thing because it's kind of zoomed in on where it is. So let's do that. So I just need to say background size. Size. Cover. So it'll cover the whole of that background there. Save that. Back to the site. Now refresh. That's a bit better. Not so blurry. So we can see all this, but I mean on its own it's not much. I guess you want to add a hero title of some sort here. So let's go back to our brackets. And if we can get down there. Okay, there's our content. That's everything that we had going on in there. So what I want to do is create a div just above it. I'll give it the class of, what should I call it? Hero text, H text, something like that. And close that div out. And let's put some H1 text in here, heading 1. And we'll say learn the best code. Okay. I want that centralized. Just delete that gap there. And so I'll use a Bootstrap 4 class of text center. And I also want that text to be light or white in color. So I'm going to use text light, which is another Bootstrap 4 class. Save that. Let's go and see what we've got. Refresh. Okay, that's all right, but it's not very exciting. Wouldn't mind it was down here a little bit and also a lot bigger. So let's select this with our Chrome Inspector again. Let's see how big we actually want to make this. Don't know if this will affect our other things or not. So I'll say font size 80 pixels. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. That's just because I've got the inspector up here. That'll drop down when I bring that inspector down. Let's drop it down a little bit. That's better, but I kind of like it to be bold. So font weight, bold. And how about if we had it in all caps? So text transform and uppercase. That looks good. So I'm going to copy that I'm going to go back to our brackets, because once I hit the refresh on this, that'll go back to how it was, because this is non-destructive when you do it here. So let's go back to our brackets, and we created this class called hText. So I want to target the hText h1, hText, this class. And within that class, I want to target the h1. So let's go back up to our CSS here. I'll just add it onto the end. So it was a class, so it's .hText. And we want to target the h1 element of it. Open and close some curly brackets. And let's paste our text in between there. Now I'll just tab those across, tidy them up. Control S to save. Now then, let's go back to our site and refresh. There we go. Okay, well we want to pull this down a little bit. So let's inspect it again. And we'll actually do the div this time, I guess. Of course, when we pull that up, that does that. So I'm going to give it some padding on the top of about 100. Pixels, that is. That's pushed it down. There we go. That's beginning to look like something now. So well, actually I might give it 150. So let's go back. I'm not going to copy that. I'm just going to write it in. Let's go back to our text editor. And we want to target the actual, not just the font itself, just the actual div element, which is the hText. Open and close some curlies. And let's say I'm going to, padding top, I'm going to give it 150. I know we only gave it 100 just now, but once that inspector's out of the way, it'll drop down further. So let's just save that, Control S, and see what we've got. There we go. That's looking a bit more like a hero section now. So we've got our scrolling text, and we've got a bit of a title. Of course, you can go on, you continue, you can add another div after it and put a button in there, however you want to do it. So that's how to add some scrolling hero text to your Bootstrap website. Of course, this will work just as well with an HTML5 site, and with a bit of jigging you can do it with a WordPress site as well, as long as you can access the CSS. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're interested in web development, have a look down below. We've got some great free courses as well as some premium courses with some huge discounts for our YouTube subscribers, so do take a look. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignertechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.